Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me at the table. I'm Thomas Dodderwick, and this week I have the joy of sitting down with Father J. Peterson, the Director of Seminarian Formation for the Diocese of Great Falls-Billings, and one of our beloved retired priests from right here in the diocese. Father J., thank you for joining me.
Glad to be here.
As the Director of Seminarian Formation, that's a title that people don't normally hear. We hear Director of Vocations. What is your role as the Director of Seminarian Formation?
My role basically is dealing with and helping the men who have already become enrolled as official seminarians. Monsignor Wathen helps them to matriculate, to get enrolled in the seminary. And then after they have started their seminarian formation, I work with them, their formators, their academic advisors, and all of those who are in charge of helping the bishop get them through the seminary. And I'm just kind of at their side as an accompaniment and a guide.
It sounds like there's a lot of involvement with seminarians, unlike where, let's say, somebody goes to college and they're just kind of on their own, except for every once in a while they meet with an advisor. Talk about the journey that you have with our men while they're in formation.
Well, I guess that the obvious side would be the academics, helping them to negotiate their classes and making sure that everything is going well in terms of their grades and their work as students. But there's also a personal dimension to their formation, a pastoral side, as near the end of their formation program to relate to people as how to be a good shepherd. And of course, their spiritual dimension as well, which is also the fourth and perhaps the most important part.
How long does it take a man to go through formation? Is there a standard kind of time frame?
Well, there is a basic standard time frame if you begin your formation immediately out of high school. However, many of our men are already in the second vocation, and they decide to become priests in their second vocation. So it just depends on what kind of background they bring, how much academic work they've done, what kind of personal experiences they've had, whether they have been involved in church ministry as a layperson. All of those factors play, but it does take a long time.
In that formation, what are some of the topics that they cover specifically? I know you talked about the 4 pillars.
Yes, the 4 pillars are something those are primary that the formators would want to concentrate on. Generally speaking, there would be perhaps now there's a new stage called the introductory stage or the propedeutic stage. And that's just kind of to introduce men to life in the seminary, the discipline of seminary life, and so forth. After that, generally, would be what we call the discipleship stage. Most of the effort spent during that stage would be philosophy studies.
Okay.
Following that would be what is now called the configuration stage. And that's when we focus more on theology specifically, as well perhaps as ancient languages and other things that would be part and parcel of pastoral formation. And then during the deacon year, there's also that final part of preparation called the vocational synthesis. So these are somewhat new categories for the old process that we're all used to.
And for the Diocese of Great Falls-Billings, do we have men in formation? And if so, how many?
Right. We have 3 informal formation, plus 1 who will be entering the seminary this winter. The one who's been with us longest is Thomas Johnson from Billings. He's now in his final stages of preparation in Rome at the North American College. He will have roughly 2 more years after this academic year. So we're looking forward to his ordination. In addition to that, we have 2 men who are relatively new. Randy Bebo, who is a second vocation man, studying at Hales Corners, Wisconsin, just outside of Milwaukee. He is in the introductory stage, but then he will be moving on to the more advanced stages of preparation because he already has a bachelor's degree. And we also have Jeremy Burka, who is studying at Mount Angel Seminary, south of Portland in Oregon. And he is also in his propedeutic stage. And for both Jeremy and Randy, they will have customized programs, so to speak, that will deal with the necessary stages of formation, as well as taking into account their own background. I also need to mention that we have a man who's on the verge of becoming a seminarian. Andy Tran is living here in Great Falls. He's working part-time here at the Chancery 1 day a week, and then he's also associated with Holy Spirit Parish to get some practical and pastoral experience prior to his going to the seminary in Milwaukee later this academic year. So we're looking forward to Andy as our fourth man.
And when a man comes to you that already has his bachelor's degree, like you were just talking about, does it matter what that bachelor's degree is in? Or is it important for somebody, if they're discerning the priesthood, that they should focus in a very specific area?
Well, I would say the more Catholic the background is, the better. The more you have some kind of exposure to the Catholic Church in your college degree, and especially philosophy. A good solid philosophy background would also be helpful in determining the remainder of the man's formation.
Is there a way for the general population of our diocese to stay connected to our seminarians, or is that just kind of an internal thing?
No, it's a little of both, actually. I mean, my concern would be internal, of course, connecting Bishop Jeff, especially, with their progress. But everybody in the diocese should pray for these men, should be aware of them, should have an opportunity perhaps to express their support for these men as they're on their journey toward priesthood, because they will be part of our diocese in a very serious way before long.
And I understand that the Vocations Department right now has a way for people to help express support for these men.
Yes, this is something that we would like to try this year, especially around the Christmas season. We're going to have a little campaign whereby people throughout the diocese could send gift cards and cards to these men who are in formation, all four of them. And we're looking at some way for us to show a little support, just a token of support perhaps, but a way to let these men know that we care about them, we're aware of them, and we want them to do well and to feel the support that's out here.
And so if somebody wants to contribute to that, how do they go about that?
Yeah, it is either a gift card that they could purchase at the local grocery store or whatever it would be, some little way for them to send their appreciation, and it would be to their local parish. What we're asking people to do, if they would like to participate and show their support for our seminarians, is to get a gift card or simply a greeting card, take it to the parish office, and the pastors of the diocese will make sure, through the system we have set up, that these men will be getting these gift cards and gifts. And the deadline for this is November 15th. We'd like to make sure that everybody can have a chance to participate.
Can you speak personally to when you were a seminarian, how important it was to hear from home?
Oh, it was very important. It didn't happen all that often when I was a seminarian almost 50 years ago. It was a little different system then.
Sure.
But nowadays, communications are much easier, and ways of expressing support are perhaps more varied. And so, it's very important, I think, just in a general way, to know that the people whom we will be serving are already anticipating our arrival by showing their appreciation.
Father Jay, thank you for taking time today to sit down and visit and tell us about the seminarians of our diocese and this wonderful opportunity for people to show their support.
Well, thank you, Thomas. And I just want to remind everybody that the deadline for this gift campaign is November 15th of this year. So thank you again.